A few is some. It's the same as some. It's often used as a, hi, Katya. Katya's here as always. So a few is used as some. It's another thing, another term that we use for some, and it is usually used for countable nouns. Hi, Tarantine. Welcome back. So I have a few friends. So I'm saying that I have some friends, and they are not many, they're a few. I can also say I have few friends. I have few friends. When I say I have few friends, it gives it a negative connotation or a negative feeling. Milk's here. Welcome, Milk. So if I say I have a few friends, it means I have some friends. Alexandri, you said you weren't going to miss it, and you didn't. So I have a few friends. But if I say I have few friends, it gives it a negative feeling. So if I want to say that I don't have many friends, and I feel a little bit bad about that, then I would say I have few friends. Or I can say I have a few friends, right? And so also the inflection and the emphasis that we give to the sentence also has a little bit to play. So if I want to say that I have a few friends, I have some friends, I have a few friends. But if I want to say I don't have many friends, then I would say I have few friends. I don't have, it's the same feeling as I don't have many friends. And the same thing can happen with a little. When we talk about a little in our conversation course, lesson 1, we talk about a little. I speak a little English. And one question that many of my students ask is, especially those that have studied some English before, they ask about little. So can you say, I understand little English, or I speak little English, or I understand a little English, or I speak a little English. And the main difference is the same kind of thing that happens with a few and few. I speak little English. So if you say I speak little English, it gives it a negative feeling, and you don't speak very much at all. Where if you say I speak a little English, it's not a lot, but it isn't a negative thing. You're not giving a negative feeling to the sentence and a feeling that don't talk too much to me because I speak little. I don't speak very much. So it's the same kind of connotation, same kind of feeling that we get when the difference between a few and few is the same with a little and little. Okay. How about a little? Wow, Kaiki, wow, you read my mind. I didn't even see your question until now. So yes, a little is the same kind of thing that we have with a few. Wait a minute, look at you, Kaiki, look at you. Oh, speaking of which, I cut my hair. So those of you who know me at all know that I am a cowhand. Just kidding, we don't have that expression. But I'm cheap, and I don't like to spend money. So what I do is once a month, I go to the barber, and I get my hair, we call it bicked. So I get it shaved, and then it takes about a month to grow back, and then I do it again because I only want to cut my hair about once a month because I don't want to pay somebody. So that's what I did. I went all the way down with the head. I put the beard down to a 1, and that's why I look like, and that's why you can see the light bouncing off. If you watched our live stream yesterday, when teacher Isabella was doing some presentation of our training. Right before that, she talked about how bright my head is with the light shining off of my head. So I hope it doesn't blind you. Okay, so let's get into your questions. That was what I had planned for today. Any questions that you want to ask? Anything that you are wondering? I'm trying to think of things that I have going on that I can update you with. The online course is still in the same place that it was until we get classes started and I can get back to working on it. Every Friday we'll be doing more trainings. So the training is focused on helping our monitors and what they teach, but it also is good for you to watch so that you can see the things that I want taught because they are the things that are most important in each of the lessons that we have. So we started last night with lessons 1 through 5, and we will be doing live next Friday night. It'll be again from 8 o'clock and probably to 9:30. We went 8 to 9 last night, and you can check that out on the channel, obviously. And we will talk about lessons 6 to 10, and if whatever time we have, whatever lessons we have time for. So then I will be talking about the most important points and why they're the most important points from 6 to 10. It is a Portuguese training because we have some monitors that aren't advanced in their English, but we want to give them a chance to help out the beginning classes if they have a desire to help us and a desire to work with us in our project. So it is in Portuguese, but I will describe the important points of the lessons and why it is that we teach the things that we do. Alexandre said, I've seen the expression even the odds and I found it quite interesting. Could you talk a little about this expression? Yes. So the expression even the odds, to even the odds. So when we talk about odds, we're talking about the possibility or the likelihood that something will happen. So if something has long odds, it is unlikely that it will happen. So for example, there are long odds that, let's say, the odds at the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency, there were long odds that he would be impeached. Today, those odds are the odds are much better that he will be impeached. So what we're talking about here is, it goes back to betting. So the odds are, for example, if it's likely, I think, what team is it Corinthians again that's in first place in soccer in Brazil? If it is, then let's say Corinthians is in first place. And the odds are good that they will win. So then if you were to bet that Corinthians would win the championship, then, good evening, Edivaldo. So if you were to bet that Corinthians would win, you wouldn't win a lot of money because the odds are that they are going to win. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't get a lot of money back. Now, if you look at the last place team, I don't know what the last place team is, but the odds are much worse that the last place team will win the championship. So if you were to bet on the worst team, you would be able to get, for every real that you bet, maybe you would get 100 reais if they were to win. And those are the odds. So that the chance that something is going to happen, and what if you were to bet, what the people who take your money would be willing to offset the possibility of that thing happening. So to even the odds, so when we say, so there's, for example, there's a 3 to 1 chance, or there's a 2 to 1 chance, means there's a very good chance. If there's 1,000 to 1 chance, then there is almost no, it's a very, very long odds and not a good chance that that's going to happen. So if we are to even the odds, that means that we have, let's say we have Corinthians here with a 2 to 1 chance to win the championship, and we have the team that's in last place is here with a 100 to 1 chance to win. So if we even those odds, then we bring that together and give them the same chance. Okay, so that's where it comes from. It comes from betting. It comes from a lot of kind of a sports idea. But what it means in everyday use is that something that is unlikely, if you were to bring it to the level where it has a chance to happen. So for example, if we were to even the odds for women, for example. So women, especially in the United States, make less money than men do. Their salary is proven to be about, the last thing I saw was about 73 cents that women make for every dollar that men make. So if we were to even the odds, then we would make it so that it was more even for women. Another expression that is similar to that is evening the playing field. So if you think of, you have a soccer field, and if you think that you have women on one side and men on the other, if women really are making 73 cents for every dollar that a man makes, then it's like they are playing soccer uphill. The women have to run uphill, have to work harder in order to score a goal where the men can have an easier time. So that means that they have an uneven playing field. And then if we were to even out the playing field and let them have an even playing field, then it means that they have as much of a chance to work, as much of a chance to earn the same salary as the men. And so we have we can talk about an uneven playing field, an even playing field, and we can talk about evening the odds or bringing the odds closer together. So I hope that answers your question, Alexandre. Let me know if it doesn't, and I will try to help you with that, go a little bit more into it. So Kaiki asked what odds are. I hope if you still have a question about what odds are, Kaiki, let me know, and I'll try to help you with that, maybe even translate it to be a little more clear. Please tell us about the meanings of the word set. And Alexandre said, perfect explanation. I don't know if it was perfect, but if I had prepared a little bit, if I had known ahead of time, I may have been able to do a little bit better. Deborah said, very fast, I don't understand. You're right, I am talking kind of fast. Sorry about that. But I just had a cup of coffee because I taught today on Saturdays. I now teach 6 hours, so I taught 2 hours in the morning, and I just got done teaching 4 hours. So in order to do the live stream, I drank some coffee, and you all know, all of you, my Brazilian friends and family, you know how strong Brazilian coffee is. So I just got done downing it, and now I'm all ready to go. So Deborah, I'm sorry, I will try to slow down for you. Sorry about that. Okay, so Kaiki, can you help me out? The word set, there are, as with many words in English, there are a lot of different ways that you can use set. One way that you can use set is if you're talking about the set of numbers, if you're talking about a group. So set can be a group. There's to be set is to be ready. So if you talk about the verb to be and the verb set, then to be ready is to be set. Actually, when we talk about racing, when people are doing track and field in the Olympics, in English they say ready, set, go. And they shoot the gun. So set is to be ready. So ready and then set is another way. So ready and then ready again and then go. So that to be set is to be ready. There's another meaning which is to be good. You're good to go. So for example, if you have all the money you need and all of the other things you need, then you are set. You're good to go. You are ready for anything. You're good. You're set. It's a harder one to explain, but it means that you're good to go. So let me know if there's another, because there could be even more that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, Kaiki. So if you have another question about set, let me know. Apollo, welcome Apollo. Good to see you again. What's the difference between so far and too far? Okay, so far is up to now. So if I were to say, so far this year, Donald Trump has done many crazy things. So up to now this year, he has done many crazy things. So that's one way to say so far. Another example is that I could say, if I had a new job and someone asked me, how is your new job? I could say, so far, it's good. So up to this point, from the time that I started, up to this point, it's good. So far, it's good. So that's another example of so far. So too far, anytime that we have TOO, to, before an adjective, and this is something we talk about in our course. You might want to check out lesson, I believe I just did it in lesson 13, maybe lesson 12. We talk about the difference between very, so if you were to say, for example, very far and too far. So if you say very far, it means that it's very far. If you say too far, then it means that it's beyond what is acceptable or it causes some kind of a problem. So too far means, for example, he lives on the other side of town. It's too far for me to walk. So it means that I can't walk because it's beyond what I can go. So if I were to say it's very far, it gives the idea that, it's far, but maybe I can still walk that far. But if it's too far, I can't do it. So there are three examples that I like to use in the classroom. The first example is when I talk about a chair. The chair beside me, if it's very expensive, I say this chair costs 1,000 reais. So it's 1,000 reais. That's very expensive. But if I have 1,000 reais and I have the desire to buy it for 1,000 reais, it's very expensive, that's all. But if I have 999 reais, or 1,000 reais is more than I am willing to pay, then it becomes too expensive. It means that either I wasn't able to do it or that it caused some kind of problem. Another example, if we say too late or very late. So if there's a party and it starts at 8 o'clock at night, and I go to the party at 10 o'clock at night, then it's Brazil. Everybody's late, right? Everybody's late. So if I get there at 10, to us as Americans, that would be very late. But if you don't have, if it doesn't cause any problems and everybody says, hey, you're finally here, it's not a big deal, then that would be very late. However, if the party is over, or they closed the doors, or the police came and ended the party, took everybody to jail, whatever happened, because you got there at midnight, at 12 o'clock in the morning, then it became too late because then you missed the party. And so it caused problems, or you weren't able to go to the party. So those are a couple examples of when we use very and when we use too. So in your example of too far, it means that for some reason, it's too far. Either I can't get there or I'm not willing to get there because of how far it is, because it's too far. So that's the difference between, I think it was how long and so far and too far. So far actually, the meaning is very different because so far means that up to this point, and too far means that I'm not able to do something because of how far it is. Alex is asking, could you talk about the differences between in mind and on mind? I always mix them up. Really, on mind, unless it's a British saying, a British expression, I'm not familiar with on mind. In mind is like in Portuguese. Oh, you were on my mind. I was thinking about you. So that's in mind. Another way to say it, keep in mind. So keep thinking about. So for example, if I say, keep in mind my offer to go fishing. So I would be saying, keep thinking about my offer to go fishing. So that would be in mind. On mind, unless maybe when you say on, maybe it's supposed to be another preposition, but I'm not familiar. Unless you say on my mind, maybe that's what you're talking about. If you say on my mind means that I have been thinking about you. So in mind, keeping in mind is to, many times we use that expression as a way to say, keep thinking about it. Another word would be to consider. So consider this. Keep in mind this. Consider this. Where on my mind means that I have been thinking. It's used a lot about someone else. There's an old country song, I think Willie Nelson sings it, called Georgia on My Mind, which means I have been thinking about Georgia, the state of Georgia. And so because in the South, there are many people that have almost a very strong love for their state, and in this case, Georgia. So I think that's what you're talking about when you talk about on mind. Usually there is a possessive adjective there, on my mind, on your mind, on her mind. And then, so it's not just on mind, but on, and then the possessive adjective, and then mind. So Alex says, that's exactly what I meant. I hope that answered. Let me know, Alex, if that wasn't a good enough answer, if it didn't completely answer that question. Valnei is here. He's late. So Valnei, you're not too late. You're just very late. So there's a perfect example of the difference between too late and very late. If Valnei were too late, it would mean that he didn't get to see any of the live stream, but he is just, and he's not really very late. I mean, well, about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe that's very late, depends on where you're at. But he's not too late, so that's the important part. Kaiki said, what's the difference between I don't mind and I don't care? Okay, that's a very good question, Kaiki. What's the difference between I don't mind and I don't care? And it's a very important question because there is a definite difference between I don't mind and I don't care. When you say I don't mind, it's like, it's not a big deal. So, for example, someone says, oh, I used your pen. Okay, we're in the classroom. Someone says, oh, I used your pen. You can say, oh, I don't mind. It means that it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's okay. Now, if someone says, I don't care, it's like, we don't have this hand signal in the United States, but those of you that come from Brazil know what this means. And so if I were to say a hand signal in Brazil for I don't care, it's like, I don't care. So for example, someone said that you are dumb. Someone said that you are not smart, that you're dumb. I could say, I don't care. So what? Another expression, so what? I don't care. So that's the big difference. I don't mind is like, it's okay, no big deal. Where I don't care is like, whatever, I don't care. You can see in the series a lot, whatever. That's another way to say, who cares? And that's another expression, who cares? Ninguém, quem se importa? So there are those, that's the big difference between I don't mind and I don't care. So really, I don't mind, you're being nice if you say I don't mind. And when you say I don't care, it's like, really, go talk to somebody else. It doesn't matter to me. So it doesn't matter is another way to say that. I hope that answers your question. Let me know if not. Apollo, well, thanks, teacher. I understand now with your explanation. Good. That's what we're here for. I'm glad you understand. If you haven't liked this video, this live stream up to now, if you could please like it now so that it will bring other people in, I'd appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so now and touch or click on the bell icon to be notified when I do live streams or put out other videos. Levi made it. Welcome, Levi. Good evening. Katya, is there any difference between confrontative and confrontational? Confrontative. I'm not familiar with confrontative. It may be one of those words that exists but we don't use. Confrontational we use a lot. It's a little bit more formal, but we do use it quite a bit. Confrontative, to be honest, I've never seen confrontative, so I believe if you have it here, obviously, then it probably is a word that exists, but it's probably one of those words that it's probably only used in certain situations, and those situations, I'm not familiar with those situations. So I would say if you have a choice between confrontative and confrontational, I would always go with confrontational, just because, like I said, in all of the time that I've studied English and that I've taught English, I have never seen the word confrontative. So take that as you will. Thiago says, thanks for the tips. You are sure welcome. I skipped one. I forgot. I just remembered that Tarantine said that my head is shining. Where was that? Willy's head is shiners. Is shining is more. Yeah, okay, so he means my head is shinier. Tarantine, you mean to say shinier than a lamp. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. All right. Tarantine also says, I used I don't mind as I don't care. Now I know to use. Yeah. So you don't, so those are two different things. So when you said I don't mind, you actually sounded nicer than you meant to sound. When you meant to say I don't care. So yeah, good. I'm glad that helped. Katya said thanks. Okay, any other questions for today? This was an excellent live stream. Thank goodness, I'm so happy, because on the weekend the internet is very bad in our city. I only had 2 warnings that the internet was bad, so that's good, and I got to see the majority of see all of your questions, so that was also good. I'm happy about that. I'm glad you could be here. I know weekends are the best times for most of you, but it's also the time that the internet is the worst. So let me know after you watch this. If you watch this on the replay, go ahead and put in the comments any questions that you would like me to answer in future live streams. I will be continuing to live stream the rest of this month. Tomorrow, I'm planning on live streaming probably tomorrow night again, and that one will be in Portuguese, at least that's the plan. All right, thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for giving me the chance to help you with your English and help me learn some stuff as I try to become a better teacher. Thanks again for being here. Apollo has one more question. When should I use thinking and thought? You put though, but I think you mean thought. So thinking is the gerund. So when you would say pensando, I'm thinking. So it's the difference between simple present and present continuous. So thought is two things. We have thought that is a noun. So I had a thought, right? That's a noun, or thought in the past. So I thought that I was done. Okay, so I thought that I was done. So we have thought that is in the past, and we have thought that is a noun. It's a nice thought. Okay, is an expression that was a nice thought. And so when you're talking about thinking is in the present continuous. If you were to say, I was thinking about going. I was thinking about eating. So it's something that is happening right now, and not something that is like the simple present, something that is either something that is happening repeatedly or that is permanent. But it is something that is happening now, or it's something that is not permanent, that is impermanent, and that's when we use thinking. So that's the difference between thinking and thought. What's the difference between to sense and to feel? Remember, we don't have infinitives with the ing, so that we will never have to feeling as a verb. If we have to as a preposition, then we have feeling, but we never have infinitive form with the gerund. So the difference between to sense and to feel, it's a very succinct. Not succinct. Sorry, succinct's the wrong word. There's a very thin line, let's say, between to sense and to feel. To sense is if you think about Spider-Man. Spider-Man has what they call, I think in English they call it the spider sense, which means he gets a feeling about something that's going to happen. So to sense something, usually it means that what you are thinking, because it is a feeling, but because the feeling that you get is not something that comes from something that is overt. It means that someone doesn't say something, someone generally doesn't do something, but it's just a feeling because of a situation and more subtle cues. So if you have cues that are more subtle, then you get that sense. I have a sense that, for example, maybe someone is talking to you and you feel like they are unhappy, but there's nothing overt. They don't talk like they're unhappy. They don't say that they're unhappy, but there is something that gives you a feeling, gives you a sense that they are unhappy. So in that case, what happens is that it's not something that is overt that makes you feel that, but it's something that is like we call it a sixth sense. A sixth sense is something that you just feel. It's not something that even is, and that's why it's difficult to explain, because it's not something that you can describe very easily. It's something that you just feel. You just feel like, and sometimes you can get that feeling about people. Sometimes you just have, maybe you've had that. Tell me in the comments if you've ever just felt like something was weird, something was off about someone, and that would be a sense. It's not something obvious, it's not something overt generally, but it's something you just kind of feel like something's out of place or something isn't the way that it should be. So that's the difference, I would say, between sense and feel. Apollo, I guess stranger to use thinking to say about a reflective phrase. Sorry, Apollo, not sure what you're going at there. I guess stranger to use thinking to say about a reflective phrase. Yeah, I don't know where you're going there. I'm going to have to end here. End with Alex's question. What about the expression to happen to? For example, I happen to meet my friend today. Yes, and then the question is it like by chance? I happen to is exactly that. It's by chance. And that's the best way. I mean, there's really, that is what I happened to. I happened to be at the store when the lights went out. Okay, it just happened by, and another way to explain it is that it happened by chance. So in that, it's already saying it's something that's by chance and that happened to. So yes, you are absolutely right, Alex. It is something that is by chance. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate each one of you. Make sure you watch all the other videos and ask all the questions you can. Share with all your friends. And don't forget, I will put the link up and to the right to our basic course, so share that with your friends that are interested in learning online. And thanks once again. I say that a lot, but I am really grateful that you're here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. See ya.